welcome to the August edition of our traditional webinar, Ask Julie Anything. As you know, I am Mariana Nadai. I hope you know that already, and I'll be your host today. I am glad to be back with another AJA, and today we are having a general session. I believe you all already know what that means, but I can explain. It means that tonight our founder formulator, Julianne Lee, that's here with us, will be answering all kinds of questions about your beloved fur family members. So don't be shy and ask Julie anything. And before we start, I just want to remind you all about some housekeeping rules. Please, if you can, switch your chat to everyone so we can all join in the conversations. Please use the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen to ask your questions. Your questions will be answered in order, first come, first serve, and we will do our best to get through all of them tonight. So please be gentle with us. We know that we can, it's not possible every time to go over all of them, but again, as I said, we will do our best. And the most important thing I also want to remind you that this session provides a judgment-free space with only the health and happiness of our animals and the planet being our core goal. So without further ado, I know you're not here for me again, so please welcome Julianne Lee, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I feel like it's been a very long time since we've done one of these. I don't know why. I just feel like
Yeah, because
it's been a
we
while.
skipped the July one, so that's why.
Yeah, and the one before was an actual uh was it a session? It doesn't matter. Let's just go.
Yes. Do you have any opening remarks or anything that you'd like to share with us
Well,
today?
just hoping everybody's having fun with the summer. For those of you that have winter and are enjoying the summer now. It's been really hot here. Uh, was really funny. We have it sounds ridiculous, but it was so hot here. I think the humidex was like 38 or something. And we have a barn with rescue cows in it. And it was just so hot, and the flies were bothering them and stuff. So we're trying to keep the door shut in it, all the fan, like they have a million fans if you feel like you're in an airplane cockpit or something when you're inside it. But anyways, we wound up putting an air conditioner in. Like this really old one of the guys that works here, he's so sweet and he just loves the animals. And he's like, I have this old air conditioner at home. Can I bring it and just put it in? And I
Oh.
said, well, yeah, it's not going to do much, but because all the doors and everything are open. And so, anyways, he put it in. It was so funny. It's just hilarious. Like they're standing in front of this air conditioner, right? It's blowing on them. It was so cute.
Oh.
Anyways, I have to get some pictures put together. It's really quite
Yes.
sweet.
Share
So,
with us,
yeah.
because you shared the other day one of the baby cow that it was so cute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They are really cute.
Yeah.
He's 3,000 pounds now. He's
Wow.
not a baby
Not that
anymore.
baby anymore. Okay, so let's start it. There's some questions already here in the
Yep.
Q&A. I will start with Amanda Andrew. Could you please speak to the topic of tooth resorption? My dog had 2 teeth removed in April and 3 other teeth are showing root resorption. He gets non-cancerous pink growth in his mouth, gums swelling, some drooling, and bad breath. I believe it may be affecting his jaw as well. Big yawns seem to give him discomfort. Should we consider chiropractic jaw adjustment, or would that make things worse? What can we do to ease the pain in his gums and teeth? He used to love having his teeth brushed and now he's afraid of it, but we are still brushing. Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, there's a million different reasons why that can be happening, right? Like immune mediated, lack of specific vitamins, too much negative or pathogenic bacteria in his mouth. Just it can even be uh Mary, you still there? Oh yeah, there you are. There you are.
I
Like,
am
where'd you
just
go?
wanted
That's
to
okay.
open my curtain, sorry.
Okay, no, it's fine. Um, and I just thought maybe for a second that we lost signals, like, wow, what happened? So there could be a million reasons. So from my perspective, yes, the chiropractic adjustments, anything to help with his TMJ, could help. But I don't know if you've ever had like a canker sore or anything like that in your mouth, or like if you've ever bitten the side of your gum. It's real, your mouth is really painful and it's very sensitive. So I would be, yes, for sure. Do as much as you can as far as that goes. Laser now, I've heard that some dental surgeons are using laser for reabsorption so that they don't have to put them out, and they can use laser in their mouth as for inflammation and pain. But again, making sure that the gut has proper bacteria in it so that the saliva is keeping that pathogenic bacteria at bay. And as far as, anti-inflammatories, like it's for anything that has an immune modulation, you want to bring the immune system back to balance, in case it is an autoimmune disease, which it can be a lot. But things that support inflammation. So herbs that support the decrease in the inflammatory response is really helpful. And homeopathically, if Emily and those guys are out there, maybe you could write this down for them. They can use the go-to, even a couple of times a day or even 3 times a day. And also a remedy called Hepar Hepar, and then SULF, or sometimes it's SULPH. So Hepar. And if you can get a 200C in that and give them all three, and also a remedy called Hypericum, because that's for nerve pain. So Hypericum 200C as well would be really great. If you can't get 200, then try to get at least a 30. And you could give those remedies 3 times a day for a little bit, and then back off after a while. Even our jump for joints is really good because of the symphytum, and symphytum really helps with periosteum, and in reabsorption, the periosteum gets affected. So that would even help with pain, and it's got a high potency arnica in it, the extra strength one. So giving remedies for pain and inflammation is also really helpful. Uh, Colloidal silver for infection, like taking a cotton swab and soaking it in colloidal silver and dabbing it on the lesions and right on the gum where the reabsorption is happening. One other really good homeopathic remedy is something called kelp fluor. And that remedy you would get in low potency, like 12C, very low, and you would give that 3 times a day, kind of ongoing. And that really helps to strengthen the enamel, and sometimes even support the body's uh, overreaction to the enamel, if that's the reason why it's reabsorbing, which it can be as well.
Great.
But brushing will make it worse sometimes. You'll just irritate it. So using, I used to tell people at my clinic, just wrap your finger with go get a bunch of gauze, like gauze squares. Maybe take some colloidal silver, put it in some water, stick your finger in the water, and then massage his gums as lightly as you possibly can. With that, that can help as well.
Amazing. Thank you, Julie. So Caroline is asking, hi, Julie, I have a 12-week-old Maltese, 2.5
Oh
pounds.
my gosh.
Cute. What vaccines should I give him? He had 2 shots so far, one from the breeder and one with me. Should I give him all puppy shots and then do titer blood testing? What about rabies shot? I have the rebalancer to give after the vaccines. Is raw the best food for puppies? Any brand you recommend? I have him on dry food with cooked turkey, bison, bone broth, and raw goat's milk as a topper. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think raw food is the best for everything, so long as you make sure that it's a really good quality and good for puppies. I really feel like I need to run in there and grab a card because are you in a, doesn't say where she is. Maybe could she put in the chat where she lives? So that I can recommend a food. Um, cooked turkey bison with cooked turkey bison bone broth, but both bone broth, goat's milk. That's all really good. As far as vaccines, that's a hard call for me because I don't know how old he was or she was when he got his very first vaccine and how old he was when he got his second one. But usually, if they've already had two by 12 weeks, we would have probably waited till 16 weeks to give the next one. And then the next year, do a titer test instead of a vaccine. Being a Maltese, I doubt you're gonna let him be running out in the forest and whatever alone around things that could potentially have rabies. So it depends where you live. So sometimes it's a legality that you have to have it done. Sometimes you think it's a legality that you have to have it done, but it actually isn't. So really dig in to find out whether or not it's a legal requirement to have the rabies vaccine done. And if it isn't, then if you're not leaving him alone outside where he could get bitten potentially by a rabid wild animal, which there isn't very many, like thank goodness, where I live and in many parts of Canada, we don't really have an issue too much with that. So that's a personal call. There's lots of information about vaccines and but the only way I cannot answer that question is that at my practice we did uh predominantly just distemper and parvo. Those were the two vaccines that we would vaccinate for, and we didn't do the other ones unless people were going to be in an area that was high risk for a specific disease. And then we would try to still get a single monovalent vaccine for that. So the ones that are very hardcore on them are the ones that have like everything in one, right? So you're bombarding them with a million different viruses. The combination viruses vaccines are the hardest.
She said she's from New Orleans,
Okay, and
Louisiana. I
you
don't
know
know if it
what?
makes any
Hold
difference.
on. I've never done this before, but hold on.
Dun, 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 dun.
I know I'm getting
Mystery.
okay, because um so it's called um Solutions Pet Products Raw Reimagined. And it's Roxanne Stone. So Roxanne Stone was the woman that had another raw food company that Billy Hoekman worked with a while ago. She's brilliant. I just saw her in Virginia when I was lecturing there, and she was talking about this new food that she has. It's amazing. So I would contact her. Uh, she's in, I don't even know, but this is her card. If anybody, can you see it?
Yeah,
I
just
don't
stay
know.
still a little bit so we can focus. Roxanne Stone, P.O.
Raw
Box,
reimagined.
Raw. Yeah. Raw what?
Yeah, I think if you Googled raw reimagined, um, Roxanne at solutionspetproducts.com.
Okay.
And when you reach out to her, tell her that Julie was talking about her on her AJA. And also Billy Hoekman has a line of dehydrated raw. Or I don't know whether it's freeze dried or dehydrated. I can never remember, but his is really good as well. So those are two brands that I really like that are in the US. If you want to reach out to one of those. So Billy Hoekman's is called Green Juju. And those would be the two that I would probably be recommending.
Great, thanks, Julie. Therese is asking, what do you recommend for East dog that can't tolerate the East Beast protocol? Vomits, loses appetite. Was on Ligat protocol from December 2022 to May 2024 before East Beast protocol. Raw fed, currently giving potency, phytosynergy and alternating phytophthora in the wolf. Reactive to ragweed, which has just started to be problematic here. Skin is red, inflamed, and broken, chewing on feet, growing and abdomen, scratching ears.
Is he allergic to any kind of protein? Can she put it in the chat?
Therese, if you're still there, can you please put in the chat?
If he's allergic to any kind of proteins. So yeasty bee, so really vomits and stuff, loses appetite. That's not good.
Pork. I guess it's allergic
Pork.
to pork. Yeah.
So today is I don't know, isn't this terrible that we can't talk about it?
Yes,
But
we can't.
Teresa, we are coming out with something, and on the 19th of August, am I right or wrong? I'm right, August 19th.
Yes, you are right.
Okay. So August 19th, I'm going to be doing a lecture on a new product that we are launching. I can't mention what it is, but I can mention it would potentially do all kinds of amazing things with this. So if your puppy can wait 12 days, that would be awesome. Uh, but in the meantime, reactive, the only thing on there that I would suggest, especially if he's reactive to ragweed, would be, okay, if you have the leaky gut protocol, chances are you still have the rebalancer. Hopefully. Maybe she's answering in the chat. I don't know. Yes, you do. Awesome. So what I'd like you to do is get some liver tonic because if he's reactive to ragweed, my cat just jumped on there. No, you're stinky. Sorry. My God, everything's going crazy. No, I did that. What am I doing? Sorry. She turned off my light. I can't see anything. There we go. On my light. So what I would be doing, and I've also lost the questions now. There we go. What I would be doing is liver tonic to decrease the histamine because if she's reactive to ragweed, there's definitely some histamine response going on here. Liver tonic would be really good to also help with the histamine balance, right? So liver tonic for histamine. And the other thing would be to give rebalancer. I would start off with 3 times a day, twice, and then twice a day for a week, and see if that calms things down. I don't know if you've got go-to, but when something's in a really heightened state, go-to is really, really, really helpful, like very helpful. It just helps to calm things down, brings down their cortisol levels, brings down their stress levels, and things just like can chill out. So you can use that when she's in an inflamed state or he's in an inflamed state, 2 to 3 times a day until for a couple of days, just until they get calm down a little bit. And then stay tuned for the 19th because it's going to be something that really supports seasonal allergies.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I saw something. Did she ask how long to stay on liver tonic? Is that a question? Did I see that or am I losing it? How long? Oh no, that's a different one. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I just so I'm asking now the question from Jack Strauss. So hi Julie, background. 7-year-old female, doodle, severe black skin in growing area from east. We are sure this is a result of well-meaning but ignorant on our part cytopoint injections, 3 within a year. 2.5 so far. EastB's protocol on board with a leak gut protocol stuck in there while waiting for last EastB protocol to be mailed. Diet changed to all raw, no sugar or starch, was headed that way earlier in year. A couple weeks before EastB's protocol. 1. She tolerates all products so far. We had one major die-off crisis, had to con her to keep from hot spotting area, and one minor one not quite as bad. Current status, diet and appetite solid. No yeast smell, black skin has been reduced by 85% and remaining area is spotty rather than solid black. She has and is responding well. Amazingly, she has maintained her sweet disposition through all of this. We are in our 4th month of all this. Question: when will this end? Okay, kidding, sort of. We have always had a dog in our life, but this is our first exposure to this kind of yeast issue. Is she clear of yeast when all the black skin is gone? What is the follow-on or maintenance protocol at that time? Thank you for your products, education, and consideration with this question.
Um, that's so nice that you say that she's maintained her. I just want to say that that was really very cognizant of you to mention that she's kept her sweet disposition between all of this because it sucks, being itchy like that and yeast and stuff and or allergies. And I can't even imagine how grumpy a person would be if they were feeling like that all the time. So to recognize that she's staying sweet is really, really nice. So thank you for that. And um, how long? So the 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 thing now that's gonna need to happen is once the yeast has been eradicated to a point where then the gut can heal, right? Because the yeast itself does create leaky gut syndrome because it's so stressful on the lining of the mucosal lining of the gut. So a couple of things, I would be keeping her on it, um, and potentially alternating both of them for another full protocol of each one once she has no more symptoms. So once she has no more symptoms, then what I would do is I would alternate 1 week leaky gut, 1 week yeasty beast, 1 week leaky gut, 1 week yeasty beast till both the protocols are finished. Just to be on the safe side and to be making sure that she has a lot of diverse bacteria. But then what I would 100% do is start to introduce the different kinds of species specific probiotics that we have. So first thing that comes to mind is the wolf one. And then sort of throughout her healing journey, because if she's 7 years old and she's had this for a while and it went to a point where her skin was actually black, then you're going to have to try and make sure that you maintain this and maintain her gut health. So rotating through all of them, like the soil and sea, and then the wolf, and then phytophthora, and then back on wolf, and doing that is really, really helpful because we're wanting to put in strains that will keep the yeast at bay, right? So not allow it to get out of hand again. Again, this is not about this new product that's coming out, but it's hard for me. That's the whole reason why this new product is coming out is for stuff like this. So, on the 19th, hopefully you can join us on on the webinar that I'm going to be launching this product. But once she's, pretty in the clear, I would definitely consider introducing this product as a maintenance for her for sure, along with rotation of the um of the pre and probiotics. And then it never hurts once a year to do, when she's had it that bad, it never hurts once a year to do a yeast beast protocol and then follow it with a leaky gut protocol. So that never hurts to do like once a year.
Great, thanks, Julie.
And thank you for hanging in there with her.
Hmm. So Jim here is asking, hello, what might you recommend for our 16-year-old Tibetan Terrier with dry eye? We are giving him your potency, Angela's Hills CBD and mushrooms, as well as 1-drop vet flu eye drop from Judy Morgan. Thank you, Jim and Carol Duss.
Okay. 16 years old with dry eye. So, the big thing, my eyes itchy thinking about it. The big thing with dry eye is lubrication, right? So this would be a situation where if the eye's inflamed or he or she, we are giving him, if he shows signs of like squinting or there's a lot of mucus buildup or it looks painful in any way or shape or form, is just the really inert eye lube, just your basic eye gel, that you can get from the drugstore or get from your veterinarian, but nothing with antibiotics in it, nothing with steroids in it, just straight lube, and put it in at night. If your dog has a tendency to put its head out the window when you're driving in the car, or it's a very dusty day and you're taking him for a walk, or a super windy day, it never hurts to put that lube in their eye just before you go out. It's one of the few things that I recommend that's not, completely holistic. I think you might be able to buy some that is more natural. You can probably go online and look, or reach out to Dr. Morgan, find out what they would recommend. But it's not going to hurt to actually lubricate the eye. Um, another thing is a homeopathic remedy, and that one, it's hard. Remedies like bryonia have helped in the past. Nat Muir, a remedy called Nat Muir is helpful. You can, go into, I don't know if Dr. Pitcairn and Dr. There's a couple veterinarians that have homeopathic books. You might look into those books and see if they have specifics for dry eye. But at my clinic, I would always just treat them constitutionally. So a remedy that matched their personality and what was going on and stuff. But on the mushrooms, on the CBD, potency is really good. Not sure if you're doing probiotics, but if you're not, that's definitely something, because you want to, often, again, it's autoimmune. So I mean, unless it's got something to do with, with your dog, that it's the gland. But if that's the case, you can always use rebalancer. So depending on why he's got dry eye. But if actually has dry eye, that's often immune mediated and also breed related. So yeah, lubricating his eye, giving him probiotics to be sure that you're modulating it. So make sure that you're choosing a probiotic that's an immune modulator, which the Phytophthora is, and so is Wolf. And yeah, lots of lubrication in his eye. And you could definitely try either Nat Muir, a remedy called Nat Muir, or bryonia.
Thanks, Julie. Eva is asking here, I have been using these products for our 4-year-old dog. I would like to know how to rotate these products. Thank you. So she's using liver tonic, love bugs, phytophthora, soil and sea, the wolf, and potency.
Great. Good question. So, depending if your pup has any kind of symptoms of anything, liver tonic is you can pulse it. So I had tons and tons of clients at my clinic would just routinely pulse liver tonic. So use it for like let's say it takes a month to go through or it takes 6 weeks. Let's just use those as examples. If it takes a month, you can do a month on, a month off, 6 weeks on, 6 weeks on, off, however long the bottle lasts. If there's a particular time of year that is more environmentally challenging, like if you're in an area with forest fires or you're in an area where they're spraying pesticides on crops or you're taking your dog places where you think that they could potentially be putting pesticides or anything like that, then you can use it every day, 3 times a day, even depending if there's a situation. But regularly, a month to 6 weeks on, a month to 6 weeks off is good, or 3 months on, 3 months off. Some people do it that way as well. Uh, so love bugs is just our basic 14 strains and larch. So I would, if like again, if your dog, if there's no symptoms of with your puppy, then what I would do is I would go through a container of love bugs. Then I would go through Phytophthora. Then I would go through soil and sea. Then I would go through wolf, and then go back to love bugs. If you have all of these right now, I would alternate them. So I would do one day love bug, one day phytophthora, one day soil and sea, one day wolf. Then one day love bugs, one day phytophthora, and I would rotate them that way so that you're introducing those diverse bacterias every other day. Every other day you're giving something new, and that's really good. That's a perfect way of doing it too if you want to do it that way. Potency to me is like very similar to phytosynergy from a perspective that it can be given every day without concern. But if your dog is a really healthy, vibrant dog, you can do sort of 5 or 6 days on, take 2 days off, 5 or 6 days on, take 2 days off. You can do it that way, or you can just give it every day.
Great,
It's
thanks.
it's similar to us taking omegas, right? So, it depends on your philosophy. There's lots of people that do, you know, um, they take their vitamins every day and then they give themselves a day off from their vitamins and then they take it every day again. Uh, Sometimes people take 2 days off, one day in the middle, one day on the weekend. It really depends. And then if there's symptomatology coming up or something that's going to challenge them, then you can do full force, right? You can do liver tonic 2 to 3 times a day. You can do potency every single day. And you could even combine soil and sea and wolf together every day. If there's, if you hear that there's like a Bordetella outbreak or and along with liver tonic, a Bordetella outbreak or, Kennecough outbreak or, you know, um, something like a lepto outbreak or something where you're wanting to make sure that the body can handle a challenge.
Amazing. Thank you, Julie. Lori is asking here, it's a big one again. My previously very healthy 6-year-old lab, raw fed since 6 month old, has um, uh, sorry,
For one
has
year.
persistent for 1 year lip fold dermatitis. Both yeast and bacteria are present per veterinarians, and most recently has allergy-like symptoms of leaking, scratching, runny eyes. I have just started your relief protocol and hope you can clarify a few things. I read the protocol instructions sent to me by your customer service team. plus watch it, the YouTube, they also recommended episode 21, How to Help Pet Allergies, which was recorded 3 years ago. Since the dermatitis has been quite stubborn, I am implementing your suggestion of starting with 2 weeks of Phytophthora. I will then proceed with 2 weeks Yeast protocol, 2 weeks Phytos, 2 weeks leak gut protocol, and for a third time, 2 weeks Phytophthora. Flora, questions. 1. The written instructions sent by your team say to use the leak gut powders at half dose. Your video does not mention this. Which do you recommend? Second, your customer service team said you recommend using liver tonic and phytosynergy throughout the entire protocol, even with the phytos. Is this still your recommendation? Third, my dog has been on Canidan for years. Dr. Connor Brady's
Connor, yeah.
seaweed supplement for her teeth. Is there any reason to discontinue the Canidan while using the phytosynergy or any of the products? Fourth, I have read you can actually use too many pre and probiotics. When I implementing the protocol, I have outlined how will I know if I'm using too much phytophthora? And fifth, at what point do I begin rotating in other pre and probiotics such as love bugs, etc.?
Can you lift, because I can only see where she's ended, where it says 2 weeks Phytophthora.
If you go like the next one after Christy, it comes her questions. Yes, you can see all her
Cool.
questions.
So
Yes.
much easier for me to go to the questions and answer them.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So when we talk about half doses, that's when an animal's in like a full blown uh crisis, right? So they're in like a massive crisis. And so the half dose, you could do a half dose and work up. That's just to try to make sure that you're not getting like a heavy duty yeast die off. So if they're not in a crisis and it's the beginning stages of an allergy and there is lip fold dermatitis with bacteria and yeast, like you said, then you can do the full doses of this um and and just potentially watch for any kind of something called a die off, which means that the yeast is dying too quickly and then they get symptoms that actually look like yeast or like allergies. So if you feel more comfortable starting off with half a dose, that's fine. If you feel like there's not that big of a concern, then you can go ahead and use the whole dose. So the second question was recommend using liver tonic and phytosynergy through the entire protocol. I agree with that. Yes, that's for sure. For years, Dr. Connor Brady's seaweed supplement for her teeth. Is there any reason to discontinue? No, there isn't. They're two completely different products and that's fine. Um, can have yeah, I remember actually 6 years ago, I think I did a big lecture in Chicago for Dogs Naturally, and I wrote an article and talked about something called the overcultured canine. And that overcultured canine was from the perspective that if we're not addressing the underlying issue, which is to me often, even like 8 years ago when I even started Leaky Gut Protocol, I've been lecturing for a very, very long time that the majority, like probiotics are not going to cure or really, really expedite the process of supporting the mucosal lining and the junctions to reconnect or the permeability to have less permeability. So you can, yeah, you can do that. And usually if you do, what you're going to see is things like a die-off, right? Where the probiotics are pushing out or overpopulating, like using one species will overpopulate all the rest of the, can have the potential of overpopulating the rest of the species. So that's why I always recommend, 14 strains and then adding in other species that other probiotics don't have. So mixing your probiotics up. So there's a couple ways you can overdo probiotics. One, if you overdo them and you're ignoring the reason that the symptoms are coming to begin with, and just throwing probiotic after probiotic in. And two, if you're using a very, very minimal strains of probiotics, that can be not good as well. So when it comes to rotating with other pre and probiotics, such as love bugs and stuff, that's the best way to do it. So once the lip fold dermatitis is under control, once you have a handle on what's going on, whatever symptoms anybody out there is dealing with, once you've got a handle on that, then you want to start rotating in. So rotating love bugs, rotating wolf, like this other woman had mentioned, or another customer. I don't even know if it was a woman now. Sorry. Uh, of putting in the different probiotics, and how often you can do them. So rotating them to get as many different diverse strains as possible.
Thanks, Julie. So after, oh, there was, yeah. So, okay, sorry. Christy is asking, hi, Julie, can you please give some guidance on rotating pre and probiotics? I use Love Bugs, Phytophthora, and most recently added roots and soil and seed.
Well,
Do
see,
you,
yeah.
yeah, do you rotate daily, weekly, monthly, per meal? What is most effective?
They're really all effective. So I think it's kind of what feels most comfortable intuitively, what feels most comfortable for you. If you like to have like a really diverse probiotic library, or on your counter, you can you can do one day, one another day. You can do one for a week, the next one for a week. You can do one, run out of it, start the next one, run out of it, start the next one, run out of it. And you can rotate that. Like you just do the different ones as you run out of one of them. uh, there's really no hardcore rule unless you have really a serious issue, right? So if you have a really serious issue, then you're probably going to be wanting to use in rotation, like the protocol we just talked about, adding other some of the other probiotics along with the yeasty beast or the leaky gut protocol. So those would be that you would want to be trying to do them, like do specific ones. But and again, if you have some kind of massive thing going on in where you live in your community with like some kind of a virus or the fires or smoke or, flooding, and then you have a lot of mold and bacteria, pathogens in water, stuff like that, then there's nothing wrong with doing like roots and like soil and seed. That's the other thing that guys can remember here. Soil and sea is a very different probiotic, right? Because it's made from the soil. So soil and sea, along with any of the other probiotics, you don't have to worry about like overdoing something because they work a little differently. So if there's something going on and you're concerned and you want to use those two together, that's fine as well. But, just whatever feels intuitive and comfortable for you, you can do. There's really um no wrong way of doing it.
Thanks,
I'm
Julie.
gonna turn my light on. It's getting dark in here.
Okay. Uh, Shayla is asking, what do you recommend, like a good supplement for laryngeal paralysis?
Paralysis. Yeah. Ooh. Collagen. Collagen is really good. And I would recommend that. Potency. So omega-3s. What I have found is really good for laryngeal paralysis is actually jump for joints.
What is
So
laryngeal paralysis? Like in two
when
words.
the it's when the larynx become paralyzed.
Oh.
So it folds in on itself. So they cough and then all of a sudden they collapse. So it becomes paralyzed.
Uh-huh.
So it can be a big deal. It can be a very big deal and very uncomfortable. Learning about laryngeal paralysis too, like positioning for them when they, like I always would tell my clients to be sure that their dogs had lots of pillows. Dogs are so smart. Um, Lots of pillows on their beds because they'll, that they can move around on them like themselves because they will situate their pillows and stuff and or lean up on top of them. Sometimes some dogs get a bit of a relief depending on how how they're positioned. Um, Making sure that you have no collars on, but I'm sure you're asking about supplements, but I'm always go whatever. So a big thing about laryngeal paralysis, no Febreze in your house, no strong perfumes, no scented candles, uh, obviously no collars. And if you're using a harness, make sure that it's really low, like nowhere here at all. And don't over exercise them so that they're really panting a lot because when they pant a lot, that can add to it. Um, there's a lot of things that you can use with laryngeal paralysis that like tools to help it as well. But again, collagen and jump for joints and potency and things that um, support that type of the other thing would be gut soothe as well, right? Because gut soothe is very helpful to keep the mucosal lining clear and um supple. Can't even say the word. Um, if it's things become too dry, like if your house is too dry and they're panting and they're breathing in dry air, dry dog food, I don't recommend dry dog food. Raw food is much better, or cooked soft food. Anything that, when they're swallowing and the trachea and everything is so close together, right? So you want to look at the whole system of the body. So yeah, as far as that, oh, and uh if they go having go-to on hand, that if they go into a little bit of a spasm where they're coughing, like really coughing a lot, if you give them a squirt of go-to, because they can get scared when it starts to paralyze, and that brings up their cortisol level, gets their heart rate going, causes the cough to continue longer than maybe needed. You can give them go-to, have it in your car, have it in your house, and just give them a squirt of go-to. That can be very helpful too. But so gut soothe, potency, um, jump for joints, and yeah, those that would be, and just lots of paying attention to positioning and not taking them out when it's really, really hot.
Thanks, Julie. Frank is asking here, my dog gets blisters on his paws and they are worse in the summer. I tried a lot to heal them and they are 80% better, but not there yet. He's currently on liver tonic and I rotate all your probiotics. Any advice would help. He also gets hives in summer, which I had under control with CBD Dog Health Ease and Heal.
Dog health, ease and heal. I think that's a CBD, ease and heal.
Yeah.
Um, um, yeah. So blisters on his paws. Hmm. Well, when he's getting blisters on his paws, the again the remedy Hepersulf that I was talking about when they get the blisters and the things in the mouth is a really good blister type blisters, ulcers, abscesses, sensitive, sore skin irritations in that way. Hepersulf is a really good homeopathic remedy that you can try. Um, for that, you could give him just even 30C if you can't get 200C, 30C, twice a day for even a couple of weeks when the blisters are there. But something's caught, where my brain goes, something's causing these blisters. Like what's causing the blisters? I wish I could see them and maybe feel a little bit more like I can, navigate that. But what I would do when he has the blisters is that our always and oopsies is phenomenal for that stuff. And you wouldn't put it on it straight though. You would just take sort of like yogurt containers with warm water or chamomile tea and squirt the always and oopsies in the water and dip his feet in the water. And it's really, really, really soothing and calming. And the golden seal is very helpful if it's anything even potentially on the scale of um uh you know turning ugly in any way, shape, or form. But our rebalancer, I don't know if you've ever done the rebalancer. That could potentially help doing the rebalancer maybe for a week and see how it goes and then stop it. And if it helps, you can repeat it, every couple of months the same way. um, yeah, that would be my suggestion. There's got to, like I said, there's got to be a reason. And Frank, I'm hoping that you'll show up too in the for on the 19th because this new product, that's why we are launching it, is because it addresses some other underlying core reasons why they get odd things like this or why they're having continually reoccurring any kind of skin issues at all.
Thanks, Julie. Sarah is asking, my dog Carol Morkey was born with only one kidney. How can I help to live long and healthy?
Wow. Okay. Well, huh. There is actually lots. So, isn't this ridiculous how I'm saying we'll show up on the 19th? Um, Keeping your dog as naturally detoxified as possible. So, um, that means addressing environmental toxins. It means helping the one kidney that's there and the liver, which is going to be his best friend in this situation. And, the pancreas and the skin, right? The skin is really, really important. Every single solitary thing that you can do to decrease toxins is the way you could help them the most. Um, Organic food, making sure that you're not using food that's got endotoxins and um, pesticides and glyphosates and things like that in it. Not using things like uh, topical flea things, reducing the amount of drugs that this dog gets at every every degree possible to try and reduce giving this dog anything that is a chemical or a drug. Uh, Talking to, I don't know how old this puppy is, but there's homeopathic remedies called phosphorus that's really good for kidneys that you could potentially I would probably talk to a homeopath and they could set you up with sort of, like I said, I don't know how old the dog is, set you up with sort of a long-term, once a month protocol. Uh, so liver tonic, right? Our liver tonic is something that would be incredibly helpful. Uh, Again, like I said, trying to keep the reduce it as much as possible. Not giving your dog a bath with anything that's going to kill or destroy the microbiome on the skin, because the skin absorbs a lot. It's the biggest organ on the body. So it absorbs a lot of the toxins. So you want the diversity of the bacteria to stay on the skin. So you don't want to use really harsh chemicals on the skin that destroy that. Then the skin can't support whatever's on the skin, and then it goes into the body, and then the kidneys have to deal with it, and the liver has to deal with it. So yeah, just making sure. And as your dog gets older, keep doing routine blood work, to be sure, baseline blood work, and then continuing to do blood work to try to make sure that you're catching things if it goes sideways quickly. Learning later on if the kidney does get challenged. It's a small dog. Oh, no, yeah, it's a Morkie, so it's a small dog. Would probably tolerate subcutaneous fluids quite easily, so that can be helpful when it's older. There is lots you can do, but the number one thing is, I would say, liver tonic. Watch this thing on the 19th that I'm doing. That would be incredibly helpful. And trying to feed your dog as much clean food as possible, and being very careful what you use in your house, right? Don't use chemicals on your floor. Be careful not to. We try to use natural. I know this sounds crazy, but it every little bit helps. When you're going to use creams on your body, get organic creams, right? Don't get creams with a lot of chemicals and things like that that your dog's touching and licking and being around. Don't use scented candles. Don't use Febreze. Don't use anything like that that your dog is like right in its face, that the kidney will have to deal with.
Thanks, Julie. Eating, I don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, so please, sorry if I'm not. So it's having a question. They have a question. I have a question about a dog food. My dog has been on prescription diet all her life. Royal Canin hydrolyzed protein dog food. Because of allergies, and we never fed her anything else. I am wondering, what is your opinion on having her long term on the prescription diet? It's not healthy because she was diagnosed with cancer recently, MCT low grade tumor that has been chirurgically removed. I am trying to do food testing to see what she tolerates, but it's a long way to go, and I am worried about allergy-related symptoms like licking and scratching, but also want to reduce dog food because of the high carb in it. That's not good That's not good for cancer. So thank you for your inputs.
So, yeah, that's a conundrum, isn't it? Because when you're dealing with cancer preventatively or trying to derail it, or your animal has it, so you're trying to support your animal as best that you can, feeding hydrolyzed protein is not going to do that. Saying that, mast cell tumors, with the low-grade mast cell tumors, those are histamine induced, so sort of allergy, overreactivity, overreaction, um, overstimulation. And so to, feed her something that she's going to be hyperreactive to is also, on needs to be on your radar for sure. So I would probably do something like, maybe reach out to Judy Morgan's team. Maybe Judy has a recipe that she could share with you. She's got some really great recipes. I would do that. The woman that I was talking about before, Roxanne Stone, with that company. Did anybody put that in the chat? I don't know if anybody did, but Roxanne at solutionspetproducts.com. You could reach out to her. Again, just say that you were on one of these, and you're really wanting to take your dog off of this prescription diet, but you're concerned because of because of the cancer. Um, but there are lots of other things you can do to support her overall health, which would be, in my opinion, giving her liver tonic and turkey tail, one of our mushrooms called turkey tail, and our liver tonic, and 100% uh, giving her a really, really hardcore probiotic. So for her, I would say doing the wolf probiotic. I would start her on the wolf probiotic. But the for the MCT and the high histamine and the liver tonic is something that's going to support that. The probiotics will support the diversity in her gut and giving her friendly bacteria. But the fact that she's had to be on prescription diet her entire life tells me that she was born with a very inadequate microbiome in her gut. So she was born, or very quickly something happened to her to create dysbiosis in her gut. And the fact that she's had to be on hydrolyzed protein her whole life, so she's reactive, would really scream to me that she's got gut trauma or leaky gut or dysbiosis, and she's being reactive. The cells are going into the things that are going into her bloodstream that shouldn't be, because she has leaky gut, is creating the chronic alert system in her body. Histamine is being reacted. She's getting mast cell tumors because of, you know, high amounts of histamines is one of the reasons. So, yes, if this was my dog, I would be working with somebody to get her on a real food diet for sure. And doing it slowly so that you're really careful. There's different Jean Dodds has a really good test for uh for food allergies. She'd be someone that I would reach out to. Her name is Jean Dodds at Hemopet. You could talk to her about it. Yeah, and getting her on a probiotic for sure. Definitely getting her on a probiotic. And then come to the next webinar on the 19th as well, because we're going to be talking about pro-inflammatory cytokines and things like that, which is a massive contributor to cancer and to allergies and reactivities and things like that in the body.
Thanks, Julie. And Becky is asking here, my 25-pound, 7-year-old golden doodle just had her senior blood panel done. She's very healthy. Her cholesterol was slightly elevated. Is there anything should I do? She's raw fed. Summer food is duck and rabbit.
Hmm. Hmm. First thing that jumps out at me. Well, the first thing that jumps out at me is a 25-pound dog that's only 7 years old having a senior blood panel done is the most frightening thing I've heard all night, to be honest with you. This is what I mean. And you're right, Becky. That's what they'll call it. That is what they'll do. They'll say, 7 years old needs a senior blood panel done. Always, I'm a big component of blood panels. They're non-invasive. They tell you a lot, and they can give you baselines and things like that. So yes, that's good that you had that done. Cholesterol can change constantly. duck is high in fat, but it shouldn't affect a negative cholesterol at all. So two things I would do is liver tonic because it supports the pancreas and the gallbladder massively and the liver. And the next thing that I would do is make sure that she's on a really good probiotic that doesn't have a fructose based prebiotic. So doesn't have inulin, doesn't have maltodextrin, doesn't have fructose, doesn't have any FOS, anything like that. So cholesterol, as far as you know, uh omega-3s are really good for balancing the cholesterol. So our potency would be something too that I would be looking at. And, for cholesterol, maybe something that would be also really good would be the wolf, because, you know, thinking of a senior blood panel at 7 and high cholesterols and things like that, that doesn't really even exist in wild, like in wolves and animal like dogs like that in their living until they're 15, 16 years old and they're 140 pounds. So that tells us a lot where we're at as far as that goes. But it's really good that you are having regular blood work so that you can monitor that. But liver tonic to support the pancreas and the gallbladder and the liver. Um, Doing something like the wolf strain and also the potency, right? Because it definitely omegas help with the balancing of cholesterol.
Thanks, Julie. Susan is saying here, would like to know what homeopathy is good for Lyme and kidney problems. Have an
Mm.
8-year-old whippet.
With Lyme and kidney problems, I would imagine that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Lots there that are very near and dear to my heart. I rescued Italian greyhounds for my almost my entire career at my vet hospital, so many, 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 many years. So I love sighthounds, and I had a whippet. I don't know if it's in this. No, I don't have it in here. Um, uh, so homeopathics for Lyme will really depend on the symptomatology, whether it's affecting the joints, whether it's affecting the kidneys, whether it's affecting, are they nauseous? Are they ataxic? Are they getting muscle weakness? Are they doing any of that stuff? So from a homeopathic perspective, lots of attention has to be to how is your dog presenting with Lyme, right? But jump for joints is, you're never going to go wrong with jump for joints. That's for sure, as a support for the joints. Liver tonic, 1,000,000% for kidney and liver, for organs in general, and really, really strengthening the microbiome and supporting the immune system. Huge. So that your dog can actually help to fight against these intruders in cellularly. So for me, what that looks like is phytosynergy, big time. Sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, phytosynergy. And so liver tonic, phytosynergy, I would do the wolf strain with this, and homeopathically jump for joints, and a homeopathic remedy called Ledum, Ledum, and you know, giving Ledum maybe twice a week, 200C Ledum twice a week, or if you can only get 30C, giving it 3 times a week. You can do that as well. Ledum is sort of a well-known homeopathic remedy for Lyme, but really following how the symptoms are. So, working with a homeopath would be really good too, but supporting the joints and supporting phosphorus is incredible for, like I said before, with that other kidney dog. The homeopathic remedy called phosphorus. Phosphorus is not good in crude substance, so vets will be like, phosphorus, what is she insane? That's the opposite of what you want with kidneys. But homeopathic phosphorus is a lifesaver with kidneys often. So that's yeah, that's and keeping her immune system really strong, really, really good food, clean as food as possible so that the kidneys don't have to overwork. Um, watching her, getting a sense of when she's feeling, what she's feeling, how she's feeling. Is it causing her to be nauseous? Like I said, is it causing her to be ataxic, depressed, uh, lame, sore? And then using the appropriate remedies for when that happens. So if she's looking stiff and sore, the jump for joints is really, really good. So is jump for joints with our go-to because of the aconite. So if she's looking like she's feeling really gross and just like hurting and lethargic and stuff, those two remedies are really good. Um, Phosphorus, like I said, for the kidneys and supporting her with liver tonic, phytosynergy, uh, and even turkey tail would be really excellent too to just really support our immune system.
Amazing. We have an anonymous question here. Any advice on how to stop or prevent the mineralization of the kidneys?
Well, I would work with a nutritionist. That would be my first thing to say, to work one-on-one with a canine nutritionist and get your diet really, really, really specific for it. Um, there's a lot to that. Like, when did it start? Or is it that you're concerned about it so that you're trying to prevent it? Um, Keeping the bladder really, really pristine, like our easy peasy protocol to try and make sure that the pH stays where it's supposed to be, the bacteria stays where it's supposed to be, the lining of the bladder stays really, really soft and palatable and not inflamed, and supportive kidney stuff like our liver tonic. But the mineralization stuff specifically, I would work with a holistic nutritionist for sure. You can always check to their urine. You can go and buy pH sticks and collect their urine every day, and then check their pH and check. You can do all kinds of different checks with stuff like that at home now, which is really helpful.
Amazing, thank you. Chris is asking here, do you agree with aspiration with lumps or cast cell tumors? If malignant, would it spread the cancer?
Let me just look at that again. What advice on what do you agree with aspiration? Oh boy. Oh, there's so many controversial things around this. We didn't do aspirates at my clinic for that exact reason. Um, Saying that, the only time I support it is if what are you going to do with it? So I think that when it says cast cell tumors, I think it's probably mast cell tumors. They are so reactive, like so reactive that you blow on them the wrong way and they get angry. So sticking needles in them when you think, you're pretty sure that's what they are. So what are you going to anybody out there that is thinking about doing or been like is being pressured or said do it, we need to do a fine needle aspirate, the first question that comes to mind, what am I going to do with that information? If you're someone that's going to do chemo, major surgery, whatever, then you have to know. That's all there is to it. You do have to know, and you take the risk of spreading something, making something angry, inflaming something. If you're someone that would be like, I am not going to do surgery and I would never do chemo, then I wouldn't do it because I would just go fully into working with a holistic practitioner and just working on it, right? Um, so it really does depend on what you're willing to do with the information. If it is cancer and you're going to do chemo and drugs, then you have to know, because then they have specific drugs. The other thing that you can do that we did more often than not is, if there was a tumor and we felt that just it smelt, looked, acted, everything, and we're like, this is going to be a really aggressive tumor. We feel it in our gut that this is going to happen, and it's pretty big. And we're like, okay, it's grown this much. Like, we measure it all the time. It's grown this much in this much amount of time. Chances are this is an invasive, possibly even not a cancerous tumor, because there's lots of invasive tumors that aren't cancerous, but they create havoc because they spread so big and they can attach to the sides of the bone and ribs, and prevent movement of the limbs and stuff. We would take it out. So we would just actually do surgery, make sure that we had really big margins, so we wouldn't wait until it was huge and you couldn't get any margins, and also couldn't close it back together. We would take it out, and then get as big a margins as we possibly can, and then send the entire tumor off, to be tested to see what it was. And then we've kind of, whether it's cancerous or not, your vet should have a fairly, by measuring it, keeping a really close eye on it, should have a fairly strong idea on whether this is an invasive tumor or not, cancerous or not. And the earlier you take those things out, the better, so that you can continue to remove them and still be able to get full margins, which is really difficult when they're too big. So, but there's no sense, if you're going to do that, there's no sense in sticking a needle in it. You just take the whole, it's even a better way of testing for it. You just take the entire tumor and send it away, and get the diagnosis that way, and then choose what way you want to go at that point. And then you can be more specific about even your homeopathics or your supplements and stuff like that. So no, we were never big supporters of fine needle aspirates ever, especially if you weren't gonna do something with it, and for as far as drugs go. But it's a personal question. If you're going to do big surgeries, or you're going to do anything like that, then you can't, or drugs, then you kind of have to.
Thanks, Julie. Another anonymous question. It's recommendations of your favorite brands of dog food at the moment.
Moment. Well, I told you too. So, um, Green Juju and Raw Reimagined with Roxanne Stone. Um, Red Dog Blue Cat, if you're in Canada. Um, those are my three favorites right now. I'm sure there's lots, and I'm so out of touch, to be really truly honest. Um, uh, I'm kind of out of touch with that sort of stuff. A good Judy Morgan has a really great team. You can always reach out to them and ask them what their favorite dog foods are, depending on if you want something cooked. Who was that one, the other veterinarian that I did the lecture with? What was her name? She's got a cooked one that's good. Uh, ugh, do you remember it?
No, I don't. Sorry.
I can't remember. Emily, or do you remember? Oh, find out who this person. Oh, it's an anonymous. Um, Pavlov. Kaylin or Emily, do you remember the veterinarian that I did the lectures with in Virginia? There was a bunch of them, but there was the one, and she's got a really good cooked food. She also has a course for coaching, animal coaching. Ugh, man, I don't know who this anonymous person is, or else I would just get their name and you could Lori Codger. Lori Codger. Is she a vet? Is she the vet? Okay. And she's got the course that does canine coaching. And Ruth Roberts, Dr. Ruth. I think that's from Cautious Consumer. Yeah, Dr. Ruth. I think that's it. Wasn't it Dr. Ruth? Ruth Roberts? I think everybody's putting this in. I
The
think
canine leadership, but it was virtual, not in Virginia. If it's the canine, it's Dr. Lodon. Lodon
no,
and
no, not that one. Not that one. She was in Virginia with me.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think it's Dr. Ruth. Pretty sure. But anyways, this I think it could yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Dr. Ruth and she has a homemade cooked food. That's really good. Um, from everyone, holistic health coach program. Yeah, I think it is Dr. Ruth. But anyways, what we could do is I don't know what we can do. We could put it, I don't know if we could put it, I just don't know who this is that we could just email them and let them know. But as far as raw food, those are the two and or dehydrated food. Those are goodness gracious, that's it. Yeah. So that's a cooked one. That's a good one too.
Okay. I was searching on my emails
I
to try
know,
to find
sorry.
it.
Well, now that we have it, we can try and remember to put it somewhere because she's really great too. I really like her.
Guys, now I'm going to the last question of the day because it's getting really late for us. So Jana is asking, my 14-year-old Chihuahua mix was recently diagnosed with kidney disease. She also has environmental allergies. She's been on raw food for several years now. I have already started her on liver tonic, but wondering which probiotic would do her more good, Phytophthora or canine gut soothe. And should I lower her protein amount in her food so her kidneys don't have to work so hard? I recently switched her from 80% to 70% protein, 10% bones, 10% organs, and 10% veggies. What is the ideal percentage?
Um, so, hmm, does anybody out there have it really depends. So it depends where the kidneys are at as far as how they're functioning. Is there high phosphorus? Because if there's high phosphorus, then you should be doing something different with their diet. If the phosphorus is still normal, you don't want to have huge amounts of protein. The biggest thing about protein is making sure that it's quality protein that the body can digest. This really big, thing about low protein with dogs and kidney failure. Dogs need protein, like wet protein. Dry dog food with high protein is not good at all. So I'm on the same page as vets when it comes to that perspective. But I'm not on the same page when the protein is full of blood, because that's a very different way of assimilating and digesting protein for the kidneys. And if you reduce the protein too much, the kidneys will start to actually ingest their own muscle mass and their own protein because they are carnivores and they need it. So I'm not comfortable telling you what percentage is ideal because I don't know your dog's values at all. Um, Sarah Griffith, if somebody wants to put Sarah Griffith's information in the chat, she's a brilliant canine nutritionist. So the person that was also talking about mineralization in the kidneys, Sarah Griffith is an amazing, amazing canine and feline, which are very few and far between, canine and feline nutritionist. She's incredible. So I would set up an appointment with her and she can put a diet together for you. I also think that Judy Morgan has a kidney diet, maybe. I don't know. Sarah will want your blood work and everything so that she can be more specific on what the dog, what your dog, what would be ideal for your dog for with raw. Um, but I would suggest as far as the probiotics go, did you say you were on liver tonic? I don't know whether you, yeah, you are. Okay. As far as probiotics go, I would alternate Phytophthora because of the fulvic and humic acid and the chelation perspective of that. I would, along with Gut Soothe, I would alternate those two together. Um, that would be my suggestion with that. And again, show up with on the 19th because this product is very, very supportive for and I don't mean this to be like, oh, the toxic world that we live in. But I don't mean it that way at all. But it's challenge, right? We're really, really, really challenged every day with our environmental crisis, with our pollution and the amount of chemicals and toxins and all of that stuff. So the same holds true if you were listening to me talk with the other people about kidney disease and kidney issues. The least amount of toxins that her body has to deal with, the better. So that goes for, fabric softeners and shampoos and stuff you put on your rug and stuff you put on your skin, and the quality of food that you're feeding her really should be organic. Um, or not, definitely not no pesticides, grass fed out in the open. So yeah.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks so much for everything. And I know that we still have some questions here in the Q&A, but as I said before, it's getting a little late for us, so I have to wrap up the webinar. But for those who didn't get their answer today, please join our community on Facebook, the Derbies Collective. Post your question there and we will be glad to help you. And also the community, they are always so helpful. So please join us there. I would like to thank everyone who joined us today, and you, especially Julie, for your time and your knowledge. I don't know if you have any final words before I
Yeah,
finish
you
everything.
know, it's so funny because we were going to do a kidney one, and then I wound up getting sick, and a whole bunch of stuff was happening here on the farm. We're still going to do it. So for those of you that have a lot of kidney questions, we are going to be doing it. I forget which month now, January, I
Uh,
think.
uh,
Or
no,
no, I don't even
it's
know.
Yeah, I don't want to say the month, but
Okay,
because
okay. But
sometimes we
we,
have some change, but
yeah,
we are doing
yeah.
it this
So
year. Yeah.
yeah, this year we're going to be still doing one on kidney, so keep an eye on that. It just always makes me really interesting, the fact that we're coming out with this new product and so many questions about toxins and allergies and kidney stuff, right? And the conversation has been, with this new product coming out, about the amount of things that we have to deal with on a daily basis as a human, as a dog, as a horse, as a cow, it doesn't matter. And how do we help to navigate this this chronic insult on the body, whether it doesn't matter what kind of body it is. So very interesting to have these questions when we're about to launch something that has the potential of helping all of that. So good.
Amazing. Thank you, Julie. And I
Thank
wish
you,
you
everybody.
all, yeah, sorry. And I wish you all a great night. And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. You can sign up on our website to get all the information about the Dorbees, our promos, new blog postings, future Ask Julie Anything sessions, and to learn more about this mysterious new product that Julie mentioned today that will be launching on the 19th. So stay tuned to that. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you again, Julie. Thank you, the
Nice
team,
meeting
for all the
everybody.
support. Bye. See you.
Bye. Thank you guys. Thanks, team.
Bye.